Well, welcome to our webinar about the WCA, a school where students thrive. My name is Dave Hawes, the Director of Operations at Washington Christian Academy, and we're so thankful for you all joining us today. We have a particular treat in having some of our students with us, and we think that it's better for you to hear from them than just to hear from the administrators at the school. Uh, Running through the program and kind of prompting the students and asking questions is going to be Cherie Pilgrim. I'm going to have her introduce herself a little bit later. But let me go over with you what we're going to be covering today in our agenda. I'm going to take just a minute or two at the beginning to talk about Washington Christian Academy, for those of you that might not be familiar with it. And then we've got the different topic areas that our students are going to discuss a little bit and answer questions about our Christ-centered culture. We're a Christian school, and as you'll hear me talk in a minute, that's important to us. We think we've got some great teachers here, and they're going to share a little bit about that. We are particularly a school that seeks to prepare students for college. We'll share some about that. We're not a large school, about 300 right now in K through 12. But we think there's some great advantages to that, including leadership opportunities, and there's some things going on outside the classroom. So those are the kinds of things we're going to be sharing with you today. We in the webinar, there's an opportunity for you to submit questions. We have a chat pane. And so I'm going to throw one question out that if you think about as we go through the course of this, you might answer, and that would be interesting, maybe for others that are participating to see that as well. As you think back to your school experience, was there something in that particularly had you thrive? We've used that word in this webinar, that we seek to make this our school, a place where students can thrive. So what was it about your school and your experience that, that really had you thrive there? So if you take a chance, put that on there. If there are other questions as well, you can enter them in the chat. We're going to be watching that, and either through the course of the webinar or at the end, we'll ask either Ms. Pilgrim, me, or some of the students those questions as well. So just a few words about Washington Christian Academy. I already mentioned we're kindergarten through 12th grade. We're located in Olney, Maryland, and as I say sometimes, it seems like we intentionally deceive people by having Washington in the name of the school. We're not actually in Washington, D.C., but Olney, Maryland. We were started in 1960, so we've been around for about 56 years. And the three words or phrases we often use to talk about the school are reverent, adventurous, and academically serious. So a school that's reverent, we really want Christ to be at the center, to think about that and to take advantage of the time we have here in our community as a whole, to really live out our Christian lives faithfully. We want to do that in this environment. We want to be a place that is adventurous as well. And for us, that means creating the opportunities for students, to take risks, to be adventurous in their life. And we really think that's a good way to view the Christian life as a whole. We want to be, leading students in that direction. And finally, academically serious. As I say, we are a school, and so academics is a part of it. And we certainly think as Christians are supposed to do their work heartily as unto the Lord in whatever they do. We as a school want to do that in the business of school. So we want to take that seriously as a school, do that work, and do a great job, a faithful job, equipping the students that are here for whatever the Lord calls them to do later on in life. You're certainly welcome to visit our website if you haven't already. There's more information there if you want to learn more about the school, and or certainly come visit. I'm sure we'll throw that invitation out a couple times through the course of the webinar. So that's enough about WCA, and so I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Cherie Pilgrim, our Director of Admissions. She's going to introduce herself and then take it from there. So thanks, Cherie.
Hi, thanks, Dave. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am the Director of Admission. This is my 8th year here as a parent. My children started here in 2nd grade, 5th grade, and 8th grade. It is my fourth year as an administrator, and I've been blessed to be a part of the community as a parent, obviously as an administrator, but also having opportunities to also volunteer and to take part in activities with several of the students. We're pleased today to have four of our high school students with us this morning. If you guys could each introduce yourselves.
Of course. So I'm Rebecca Hall. I'm a junior here at WCA, and I've been here for about 3 years.
I'm Josiah. I'm also a junior, and I've been attending here 3 years as well.
I'm Alejandra, and I've attended here 3 years too. I'm a junior.
I'm Sophie. I'm a sophomore, and I've been here since 6th grade.
Okay, great. So let's dive right into our Christ-centered culture.
Mhm.
So we are an intentionally Christian school with a focus on the integration of faith and academic rigor. What's the most important way to you that WCA shows itself as a Christian school? Josiah.
One of the ways that we really use Christianity is that you can't escape Christianity in this school. It's a part of the curriculum, and it's not just, we do have a theology course, but it's not just a textbook religion that we study, but it's integrated in all the academics that we learn, all the classes, and it's really a practical part of our entire curriculum, all of our sports outside of school and our in-school curriculum, and it just really helps to apply your faith to everything that you do in the school.
And it's even a part of like the student body voluntarily, getting involved in things like the spiritual life committee, which is something I'm in charge of. So these are a bunch of people who want to get together and they want to spend time together in prayer and worship. They lead chapel, they do scripture readings at chapel. And so these are people who are really interested in this and really motivated to spread that Christian atmosphere here.
Okay. What's the biggest difference in attending a Christian school that you enjoy? Sophie.
I like how everyone here has a really biblical perspective. So I know I won't be asked by my teachers ever to do something that God doesn't want me to do. And so just coming from that common foundation of just putting our faith in Christ. But at the same time, our teachers don't want us to limit ourselves to a purely Christian worldview. And they don't want us to only teach us things from a Christian perspective. So for instance, if we're talking about something in history class, and we're asking, what is the evidence that this ever happened? We won't just be able to cite the Bible. Oh, this, it says so in Genesis or whatever. Our teacher will really encourage us to think through things, and it's not so that our faith is not something we just accept, but something we think through and we take and we just claim as our own kind of.
Okay, piggybacking off of that as a personal experience. So my oldest daughter graduated a few years ago, and I asked her a question about her faith and what she had learned here at Washington Christian Academy. And two things she brought up was that she said that when she was a junior, she got to the point where she felt that she owned her faith at that point. And then she felt also that she was prepared to defend her faith. Can any of you speak to that at all? Okay. Sophie.
Well, I know that the seniors, in our theology course, seniors take ethics and apologetics in their 12th grade year. And so they really just learn as they're preparing to go off into college and stuff, just really how they can defend their faith and how they can, just portray their faith in a way that is personal to them, but also is very, it's convincing. It can be a firm foundation for their lives.
I'm in classes, I don't know how many times in like history class or theology class, we've had discussions of, why do you believe what you believe? And not just because the Bible says so, like understanding why the Bible says that and understanding why God wants us to do certain things and putting that into life. And it's just cool because, before you're just like, oh, because it says so and God says so and God wants me to do it. Yeah. And then like learning, but like why and why it's important and how it applies to your life and being able to, know that for have a certain foundation in that and being able to then, when somebody else comes with a different idea, you're like, oh no, I believe this because this, and you have reasons why. And it's nice to have that now. Like, so it's better now that I know it it's not just something that I'm like, oh yeah, it says so in the Bible somewhere. I know that for sure. But like being able to, so if somebody comes up to me, I can defend my faith much better than I could
To
before.
articulate. That's great. Okay. So our teachers, they make up a large part of your experience here. What's an example of a way that a WCA teacher has been important to you? Rebecca?
Okay, so one thing I really love about WCA is the teachers, and even like from the first day I shadowed here, and I was just watching these people, I was like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. And even this year, I'm taking a biology class, and my teacher has been so careful and to make sure that we understand the information, making herself available. I've had phone calls with her at like 10 o'clock at night for like 2 hours discussing concepts. Like they really care that you understand the information, and they will bend over backwards to make sure you understand it, and not just in like school matters, like personal matters. If you need help, you need counseling, whatever, they are always there for you, and that's just something that's incredible.
And not just like school and academics, but also like just managing your schedule.
Mhm.
Like our English teacher, Miss Bridges, she's really good about like she'll like look at other classes and what we have. She's like, I know you have a lot, so this time I'm going to push the deadline back, or if you need help, talk to me.
Mhm.
And instead of this quarter, we usually write a paper, but instead of doing that, we're just doing shorter like 1-page papers, which also prepares us for college, because she says that the college does a lot of like 1-page papers. We need to be able to get all your thoughts in like 1 page or a page and a half. So it's giving us less work, but also like helping us for college. And that she's really awesome. And in the beginning of the school year, we wrote like I guess things that we like. She gave us a list of stuff like, what's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie? And I put Newsies on mine, and she, out of the blue, she's like, Alondra, I remember you like Newsies. They're showing it at the theater like February. And she goes, I was like, Miss Bridges, you're so awesome. Like, what?
So she paid attention.
Yeah, she's so great.
Good. Okay, Sophie.
I really just appreciate the examples our teachers set from us. They're all such strong Christians, and it's really interesting because they don't all come from the same denominations. We have Presbyterian teachers, we have Baptist teachers, we even had Anglican. So it's very, but it's really interesting, and but they all want us to accept the faith that they own as our own. And I'm just always surprised, like the examples they show, like their amazing patience with us, or their willingness, their generosity with their time, and all that. It's really cool to see, and it just gives us a lot of role models, kind of. So
that's good. You have something to say?
I also just want to say how they really open themselves as resources to us, and it's a valuable resource when you learn how to use them. And they help us with no matter what class we're in. Like for English, for multiple classes, we have to work on citations, and it gets very complicated as the citations switch from year to year occasionally. And so, for history, we have a big capstone paper project that we have to use, and it's nice to be able to use the English teachers as resources to help you with another assignment from the class. Or for in chemistry or in biology, to be able to use the math teacher to help you with some math, with some math concepts that you might not be understanding in your other class. So they really work with you and are important resources in the whole learning experience.
That's good. Yes.
Sorry, just to add on to that, I've learned here that your academic career is really only what you make of it. And we have a wealth of opportunities here. We have a ton of resources, like Josiah said, all our teachers and stuff. But it's as we get older, they really give us more and more responsibility individually. And so it's more and more now just up to us to go and take advantage of the opportunities we have and go to the teachers. Because once we go to them and once we take that first step, they're happy to help. But they don't want to baby step us through school. They want us to grow into independent students who can really, that we can just stand on our own.
So let's move to college prep. In line with our academic rigor, we're a college prep school with an emphasis on faith life preparation. How do you think WCA is preparing you for college besides academics?
Well, I can start there. So one class we have, I don't think any of us have taken this class yet, but the seniors have a college and career prep class,
Yes.
which I've heard a lot of people really enjoy, whether it's doing applications, whether it's learning how to change the oil on your car, whether it's, all of these different things that we just normally wouldn't have learned in school. That class really allows us to understand. But
I would also just say, as we kind of stated before with the teachers, is learning initiative and responsibility, because our good grades are not handed to you. And so learning how to use your teachers as resources, using the resources available at the school, and taking the responsibility to go out and learn for yourself is really important, because everything won't be handed to you in college, nor is it in this school.
I think time management is a big one. Like, I know this year especially, we've got a lot of teachers, like, they give us the paper at the beginning of the quarter, like, okay, here it is. You have this, this, and this. And it's like, go figure it out. So I think it's good because, if you get a little tripped up, you can go ask the teachers for help. But, in college, they just, they tell you, okay, like, here's the work, go do it. I don't care when you do it, just have it done by the end of the quarter or semester. And I think it's good that we're learning it now so we can prepare for college, because I don't know, a lot of people, I'm one of them, I tend to procrastinate. So this is a good kind of wake up for me that I need to work on that. So in college, I'm not freaking out. So I think it's really nice.
So you're improving?
Yes.
Okay.
Slowly but surely, I am
was going to say you're a
improving.
junior. Okay, Sophie.
Josiah had mentioned the capstone project. So freshman year, when we received our capstone project, it was, it's a big project. We were all kind of stressed about it. But our teacher, Mrs. Olson, last year, she walked us through every single step. And so it was actually not that hard for us, because she showed us, okay, these are places you can go for resources. This is how you're going to cite it. This is, she walked us through everything. This year, our capstone, we have a little less guidance on it. Actually, significantly less guidance. Since we had the help last year, we're learning how to take steps on our own. And I think next year we'll have even less guidance. And by the time we get to our senior thesis, that's really an individual project. And it's up to you to take initiative on that and to, in order to make a really nice final project.
Indeed. Okay. How has your faith been a part of that preparation?
Well, I think in general, just the school, helping the school's helping us grow in our faith, and not, it's ideal that not everyone's going to go to a Christian, it's just realistic. Not everyone's going to go to a Christian college, and sometimes they just don't offer what you need. So to have that faith, have a strong faith. So there's so many, I've heard so many stories of kids, they're Christians, they grow up Christians, but, they go to college and then something happens, and then they end up not following what, the right path. And I think it's really important here at WCA how we grow in our faith. So when we go to college, we're not swayed by different opinions or something, and we have that foundation of our faith.
Yes, Josiah.
Just like Alejandra said, an important part of being prepared to defend your faith is truly understanding your faith. And I think that the school really helps us to understand and get a deep knowledge of what we believe and why we believe it, instead of just having the facts. And it helps us to, what was I saying? We look at different, in our English classes, we look at all sorts of different literature and different non-Christian ideas, but then we'll always take it back to what does Christianity say about it, and what do we believe about it. And that's something that we're going to face in the real world, and being able to understand what does our own faith personally say about these non-Christian ideas.
That's great. So here we have small class sizes. How does that environment help you? Rebecca?
That environment really helps me in particular. I'm thinking back to when we just took our midterms very recently, and our class has a group chat. And and what happened during midterms is we were all so stressed and we were all so worried that we began helping each other out. And there was this time when we all felt this unity of
Really cool.
These exams are going to kill us, but together, if we help each other out, if we offer to study together, share study guides, and we all did it together, and I think we all did pretty well together as a class. And that was something that I don't think I would have felt at a 400-person class size in school somewhere else.
So do many of you have group chats for certain
I think
classes.
Yeah.
we have an AP Gov group chat.
Oh, yes.
I think the seniors have their own little group chat going on just in general. I've
Yeah.
heard.
We have an AP Bio group chat.
And we have for
Yes.
each committee, we
Each
have
committee
group
has
chat.
one.
I mean,
Such
it's
group chat.
impressive. It's impressive. I know my daughter's taking AP Calc, and they have a
Mhm.
chat. Well, at 9:30 one night, Miss Bowser jumped into that.
That's great.
And she commented on, on the problem that they were having trouble with, and she kind of helped them all through. So I was pretty impressed with that, but I'm hearing that more and more from students. That's great.
Josiah's got, put his hand up.
Josiah, okay.
One of the things about the small environment is also it's a safe environment. We all have known each other because it's kind of a close space, and so we feel comfortable around each other. And something that a lot of people struggle with in high school is peer pressure. And I feel like in my class, especially, there's a peer pressure to not do the wrong thing, but a peer pressure to do the right thing. And we're really like encouraging each other in growing, not just academically, but in our faith. And so I think it's nice to have a peer pressure that's good instead of negative.
Yes, Sophie.
I think it's really remarkable how we have a smaller school, but even within our really small classes, there's a lot of diversity. And I have classmates who come from all sorts of different backgrounds. And it's really cool to see all these different people who come from different places, and we still learn together, we interact, and just getting to know other students. It's such a small class that disputes don't really last very long. If you're mad at someone, you can't stay mad at them for very long if you want to maintain any peace. It's just really cool to me.
I'm going to jump in. One of the things I've thought about the school and its size kind of relates to what you said, Sophie, that in a larger school, you can find groups that are pretty similar to you, and you can find a set of students that match that. That's typically where people are comfortable with, adults too, not just students, gravitate toward that. But I think it's been, at least as I've kind of watched over the years I've been here, that with a smaller group, you're not going to find a large group like you. You might, there are going to be similarities and differences, but in some sense, it kind of forces you to get to know people that aren't like you. And, that creates challenges at times that might not occur otherwise. But I think, I would say, at least for my kids that have been students here, I think that's been a huge benefit to them, just to be forced into that situation. So is that any thoughts about that? Again, I'm getting head nods, right? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Other people, probably other students that you've gotten to know to a degree that you might not have gotten to know in another scenario. So
I think definitely, in high school you have the sports people usually hang out
Right.
together, and
Yes.
the drama people. And,
Yes.
well, here it's like you got the same people doing like all three things. You got them doing school, sports, and drama.
Right.
So you get to connect on like all different levels. Certain people that you wouldn't usually hang out with, or even like the underclass. Well, I'm a junior now, so I guess I can say underclassmen. The 9th and 10th graders. Sometimes you don't really have any
Right.
classes with them, but like through sports and stuff, you get to know freshmen. Like I'm close with a couple of freshmen just because of sports and things like that I wouldn't have gotten to do, especially at high school. That's like huge, and basically your class, you don't even know everyone in your class.
right.
So it's cool to be able to do that, and I think it's I think it helps with school because if freshmen talk to seniors and try, like it gives them a little more confidence too, that it's okay to you're like, they're not scary, it's okay. Like I know that was a huge thing when I was a freshman. So like the seniors were so nice. I remember I was in service committee, and Porter Sprigg was my was the president at that time. He was so nice, and he was like it wasn't scary, it was nice. You could talk to him, you could I could put out my ideas during service committee, and they weren't shot down. It was really cool. So it was a cool experience.
Kind of going off of that, I remember also as a freshman I took a class because everyone else in my class was taking these 2 very specific classes because they wanted to get them over with, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I just took a class, and there were a bunch of juniors and seniors in there, and I had this tiny little freshman is sitting there in the corner like, oh my goodness, there's all these juniors and seniors. Well,
they became some of my best friends. I'm still talking with them now. They're really awesome people, and it's just incredible that we can have that environment here. That's okay.
That's great. So as you all know, you see me on tours with families and you know, telling them about the school and showing them around and interrupting some of your classes. And I try to talk to the parents, but I try to spend time speaking with the students if they're here. And one question I get frequently from the students, how is it being the new kid in this school? Because some people think that we have students that enter in kindergarten and they go all the way up and they graduate. So they feel like, where, you know, is there going to be a place for me? Alejandra.
Well, Rebecca, Josiah, and we all came in freshman year. Like we were all new kids. They were both homeschoolers, so they had actually never been in school, right? Like actual school. I mean, I guess homeschooling school. But and then I'm a military kid, so I move around a bunch. But I really like the experience. I mean, there are kids in our class that have been here since like first, second, you know, and then middle school. But there's not really any like difference. We all kind of just clicked. It was really cool, actually. Like we have kids that have been together since middle school, but then we all came in and we just all kind of clicked together, and it was really cool to see that all happen. And you didn't really feel like an outsider. I remember like feeling pretty like welcomed, and you just like with the small class size, you just kind of become a little family, really. I mean, it's really cool. I think you can kind of, like have the group chat and like whenever we're like, hey, what's going on? Like what's this? What's that? Like what's the homework? You know, it's just really cool to see it all happen.
Yeah. Okay. Sophie.
I would say, I think in my class of 30 plus kids, there were probably only like 4 kids who have been here since kindergarten. The rest, a lot of us came in at middle school. I came in at middle school, but there were a significant amount who came in freshman year as well. And even now, the class is still changing. We're still, you know, getting new kids, and so there's always going to be a new kid. You're never going to be the only one. So yeah, I think
I will share that the next time. Okay, great. So let's talk about leadership opportunities. I know we've got some leadership opportunities with SGA, Chapel, student ambassadors. Can one of you speak on some ways you've been involved in leadership?
I can talk about that.
Okay. Rebecca.
So first I'm going to say is I had no desire whatsoever to be in any leadership roles when I came here. But through different things like the SGA, student ambassadors, National Honor Society, Chapel, I'm doing almost everything a person could possibly do. And it's really great how there are all these opportunities, and the people who are doing these things really want to be there. They're interested in the tutoring or in leading chapel and leading worship. And it's really nice, that we have all these opportunities and that people are really willing to do it.
Sophie.
I think I can speak for Alejandra and me. The two of us, we co-chair the service committee. And that's just been a really interesting experience. Just each time we call, you know, there's a meeting, we have some ideas, we're not really sure where we're going, and there are always people. We're always surprised by, like, you know, the freshmen who come in with a ton of ideas, and then people who are like, oh, I know how to do this. You know, we can organize this. There are just a lot of really enthusiastic students, and so being a leader here, it's difficult. I mean, you know, there are always going to be hard parts of it, but you're always going to have enthusiastic followers and people who respect you and really just accept your leadership and will support you when you mess up and all that.
And what's service committee?
Service committee, do you want to explain to the project? Oh, well, so for service committee, we do a bunch of service drives here, and we had that. So whenever we have a food drive or clothes drive, and we've done outside things like my church goes to the Dominican Republic, and so we've done drives for them so they can take the clothes, or we did mosquito nets one year where we raised money for mosquito nets and the church bought them, and then they could take those to the DR. And so we've just done things like that where we can help other people. I think we help only shelter, I believe, homeless shelter, only food or something like that. And we've done only help, that's what it is. And we've done other ones, but it's just cool how we can serve the community back. And we're planning to do things outside of school too as a committee. We can go. I know the Spiritual Life Committee went caroling during Christmas to like a nursing home.
Oh, very nice.
So, and service committee was a part of that. We kind of joined groups and went out there. So that was really cool.
Josiah?
One of the things I was just going to say is that the school has really taught there are leadership opportunities even informally throughout everything you do. Even in the classroom, you can be a leader by setting a good example to your classrooms and not goofing off when you should be. And I remember specifically one time last year, I think there was an incident around the area. The school was in a code blue, and just a couple of the students, without any of the teachers giving us any ideas, it was just like, why don't we all circle up and pray? And we kind of all did that together during break as students and just prayed for our area and prayed for protection. And it was just something nice that the students could lead us spiritually, and we could kind of have that together.
Wonderful.
Yes. I can also speak for like sports, being a team captain and stuff. I think that's really cool because we really get to learn how to mediate between the coach and then our fellow players. And so, sometimes there are disputes like, and you're kind of like, oh, whose side do I take? Am I trying to side with the coach or side with my fellow players? And so just really learning where to find that balance, and just encouraging your players to maintain respect for the coach, but at the same time, helping the coach to really relate to the rest of the players. That's been a really interesting experience, but I think really helpful for us.
Okay, well, you all have kind of naturally segued into athletics as well, which is part of the life outside of the classroom, which would include athletics, fine arts, house programs. So if you guys could speak on that a little bit. Is that, you had your hand up, so does that kind of tie into?
Sure.
Okay, great.
So one thing that's really interesting is that we have this house program, and we have the 4 different houses: Hewitt, Arcola, Franwell, and Hampshire. And we do various things as houses. So we have competition days where we try to get points. We have our spirit week where there's like a decorating competition, and there's dress up days and all that sort of fun stuff. And it's really interesting to see how, people of all grades, so 6th grade through 12th grade, get together, work together as a team to get things done. And one place I really noticed this is we have this big hallway decorating activity during our spirit week. And there have been a few times when the head of house has called me up like the night before it's due, and they're like, okay, Rebecca, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this. And like 5 people will get together and we all do it, and we're all working together and we all understand what we're trying to do. And it's
Common goal.
Yeah, it's this great feeling of unity.
Nice.
I was athletics, so I play soccer. Well, kind of. So this year I tore my ACL for the 2nd time, and it was just cool to see the girls kind of get together and support me. Like the day we found out I tore my ACL, I told the team, or someone told the team. They found out somehow, and it was just really cool because I started getting texts. I had a couple girls call me and like pray with me and like ask me if I'm okay and just talk with me, and it was really cool. And then the day or 2 before my surgery, they all got together and they bought this like basket for me. They filled it up with like my favorite treats and gift cards and anything blue related, like my favorite color. It was so cool
Wildcats.
just to see that. It was just so cool to see that happen. And it's just like, even if you're not on the team, I didn't get to play at all, but I still feel a part of the team because of how the girls are and how supportive they are. It was just really cool.
Yes, Sophie.
All the coaches are great, but I want to speak specifically about our basketball coach. She's amazing. She graduated from WCA, and it's just really cool because, like you see with Coach Myers and all the other coaches, it's just yet another source of like role models. And they're caring for us. They're always, of course they want us to win our games and stuff, but more important to them is how we grow spiritually. And so taking a loss and then showing how we can improve from that, just simple things, and it's just really cool because you see there are more people who care for you, your coaches, your teammates, your even our athletic director and stuff. It's always cool to have that extra source of support. Yes.
And so you've been hearing a lot about sports, and many of the students here at WCA do sports, but I'm one of the very few people who does not do sports. So I've been involved with some different like fine arts things. I've done the play every year, and that's been a fantastic experience. I think most people here have done that, and it's just been a great time of getting together with people. Not only are you, acting and you're doing the play and you're whatever, what you're doing all of that, but you're also, bonding together because you're spending all this time together. Alejandra and I also did Model UN freshman year,
That's
and
fun.
we're doing that again this year. And that was really fun because there were 4 freshmen, I believe,
And then
seniors. And so we, as the 4 of us, really got to know each other really well over that weekend. So, yeah.
Another thing that we have a lot of is we have clubs and things led by student interest, and so we had last year an SAT club for some students who showed interest in having more preparation in that. We have a swimming club, and we have a new robotics club, and there's a language club even for students who really enjoy Spanish or learning French. And so it's cool to see how student opinion really has an effect on the activities that we have.
Yes, Sophie.
I also want to mention the music program. So that's definitely something that has grown since my 6th grade year. And it's we get to do a lot of stuff with our music. Not only is there the middle school choir and upper school, there's band and stuff, but also just ways that our music teacher has found for us to serve our community with the music. So there was the caroling, but we've also gone other times to nursing homes nearby, and just bought our violins and stuff and just played for them. And it's just a way that we can really just show our love for the community and kind of just give back. And it's kind of cool.
That's great. I didn't want to interrupt anybody. Okay, can you tell me, Alejandra, how has one of these extracurricular activities really added to your WCA experience?
I'm gonna go with sports. I'm a huge soccer person. Freshman year, that was a huge, it was one of the things that really helped me a lot because for new year, high school, I was freaking out. I just moved here and I was I literally know no one, and I enrolled a week before school, so
I remember.
I was freaking out. And just coming, preseason started a little bit before school, so coming and being able to practice with the girls, and it was I got to know some of the girls, and I was okay, I feel good, this isn't gonna be bad. They're really nice, and the athletics, it was really fun being on the team, and I got to know girls like that and grow closer with people that I wouldn't have been able to, and just kind of a little more confidence in myself because sports helps that because you kind of have to be a little confident to play on the field, and it's just good. And you also relations with people, that helps a bunch with relations. You get to figure out things like Sophie was talking about with the coach, the students, so you see that happening and you learn, you grow from those experiences. And it was a really good time. And even though I haven't played in 2 years because of my knees, I still, sophomore year, I was assistant coach, and I was honorary captain since I couldn't play, and I got to go with the girls, the games and stuff, and it's such a cool experience. I really love it. It's one of the things about WCA I don't think I'll ever forget, because it was just, even though I couldn't be a part of it, I was still a huge part of it, and it was just really cool. I loved it.
Yeah, one thing that's pretty unique about our sports, and you see this especially on our soccer team since it's a big team, is that there are a lot of girls who have played before and enough to make our sports are competitive. But at the same time, we're not so competitive that new players don't have a chance to play. And so on our team, especially on the soccer team, I think, Alejandra, you agree, in the past we've seen just growth as a team, just learning how to really interact with newer players and then very experienced players, and just how we can all come together and just really play for God's glory and just be the Washington Christian Academy soccer team. That's really cool.
That's pretty awesome. Well, as we wrap up here, we've got people listening here. What would you want to tell those that are listening about WCA? Alejandra.
The teachers, it's just something about the teachers. They're great teachers. They've helped us so much. I've had so much help from them. I had applied for this thing I applied for this thing this summer, and I wanted to learn more about it. So it's a history thing. So I asked my history teacher, do you have any books? And he gave me one from his bookshelf there, So, and it's just nice how they can help you, and they'll take the time to help you. And chemistry, sometimes I don't get what I'm doing. So after, he'll spend my whole lunch, the whole 45 minutes explaining things to me. and it's just cool to see. And they don't mind, like they want you to understand what you're doing, and it's really cool experience. And when I had surgery, I was out for like a whole week of school, and I thought I was gonna die because it was like so much work. But they had emailed my parents, like they asked about me, and they're like, let her take her time, don't rush it. And they extended everything for me, and they helped me out when I needed it. And it was just amazing how they cared, and they were just like, okay, we got to put the grades in the grade, but like, come on, hurry up all over. Like it was really nice to see that, and that they actually cared about me and my health and my academics, and to make sure, I didn't fall behind or something like that.
But you're all caught up now.
I've been caught up, so.
Josiah.
I would say about WCA is that entering it, prepare to be challenged in all aspects that you do it, but specifically intellectually, you need to think critically, because answers are not answer and then response, but you have to like really question things that you're learning. And then also, to get good grades, they're earned, they're not handed to you. So you need to work in that aspect. And then socially, you need to learn how to work well with others, because especially with our class size, working with others in group projects is a big part of it. And, utilizing your classmates, as you said, with the exams, to just help each other. And then spiritually, to really grow in your faith and be challenged in different Christian ideas that you wouldn't have originally maybe thought of. And so those are different challenging aspects of the school.
You have something, Rebecca?
Yes, yeah, I would say, WCA is a place where you can get involved, and you thrive when you do get involved. So I remember at the very beginning of my freshman year, I was very kind of scared and shy, and I wasn't involved in anything. I just came to school, I did my schoolwork, and I left. But after I started getting involved with things, I started doing the play, I joined committees, I joined the SGA. I really got to know people better. I got to know my teachers better. I got to know my classmates, upperclassmen, lowerclassmen, and that just really made my time here so much better. And I've learned so much more just by being here and getting involved.
Great. Sophie?
I would say just spiritually, like if you are a Christian, just be prepared to come in contact with a lot of other Christians. And it's surprising, coming from the common faith, we still have disagreements and stuff, but just learning how to work that out in a godly manner, it's something that's pretty priceless to me. Just we learn about things in like church history, for instance, and different disagreements that have come up in the past, different controversies. And then just really always going back to scripture and saying, okay, what do we feel like God is really telling us in this passage? Or and so just really just learning to look at everything from a Christian perspective, like we said before, but also be open to questioning your faith, because it's through those kinds of things that your faith is really it's strengthened when you overcome trials and stuff.